This futures live stream event is proudly brought to you by MightyOxTrading. All information contained herein should be considered for educational and entertainment purposes only. Nothing seen or heard should be considered financial advice.
Good morning and welcome to MightyOxTrading. Happy Thursday. Hope everyone had a great night, ready for a great day. Lots of news this morning. PPI and jobless claims coming up in less than 30 minutes. We'll take a real quick look at what the markets did overnight, and then we will bring in our guest today, Mr. Sid Chase. So it looks like the markets are kind of stagnant compared to what we have seen after that huge move up in the afternoon yesterday. We have 55.55 as the low on ES and 55.77 as the high, so that's 22 points. NQ looks like our low was 234 and a high of 342. It's about 110 points in range. So that's just our real quick market look. Let's bring in Mr. Sid Chase. Welcome, Sid. How are you this morning?
Hey guys, I'm doing great. How are you this morning?
Doing great as well. So looks like not a lot of people have piled in yet. Let's see. Oh yeah, I didn't bring up the stream on my phone to see how many people are here. So since we are waiting on news and all that other stuff, why don't you go through and tell people who you are? Because I know you have been with me once before on an evening stream. This is your first morning stream, I think, that you've been on. So give people who you are, your background, and all that, if you don't mind.
Sure. Everybody knows, or most everybody should know, I'm Sid Chase. In real life, I'm a real estate investor. I've been one for about 37 years. I do everything from, I started out back in the late 80s, flipping houses, and I continue that to this day, though I haven't flipped any houses in probably the last year only because the market is so high right now. But we own a few businesses, a trucking company out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we also own a few businesses here in South Carolina. One of them is a custom home building company and a consulting firm, and we own a rental business here of construction equipment, and we just acquired a 33-acre farm, and that is now a workable farm. So we have Brooks is not allowed in the office today, just so you know. He's out. He's pulling extra duty. Actually, I got up early this morning myself, went out and did half the animals for him, and I'm letting him do the other half. And so he's out there doing that with some help from some other people. So we're a workable farm. So everything here is raised and processed, pretty much everything from goats to turkeys to chickens to cows to quail. I'm probably missing a few things, pigs, but those are a few things that we're doing. I'm also a speaker. I will be in New York City at the Real Estate Expo this year. I've been invited up to that. And then next year, if everything goes well, I've been asked to be the host at the Greenville, South Carolina show, real estate show. That'll be the first in South Carolina, that large of a show. It's actually the promoters from New York City. They'll be down. And I will be launching my own podcast, YouTube, Facebook show probably within the next couple of months. We've finally made a decision, made some agreements with some folks. So we'll be talking about everything from stocks to finance to long-term trading, short-term trading, businesses, bringing on guests that are very well off, doing when I don't, not just necessarily money wise, but well off with their businesses, doing well with their businesses, and into different genres. So it's going to be kind of a educational platform. And I probably will trade, maybe if I can get things fixed, I will trade live 1 or 2 days a week with that, maybe.
Oh, awesome. You have to let me know when that launches so I can do some promotion of that for you with my community
That's
here.
I appreciate it. I am married, been married for about 34 years. And I've written 4 books and published all 4 of them. Most of them are on real estate. One of them is on the last one I wrote was on alternative investments through gold, silver, forestry, real estate, and wine.
Wow, you have your fingers in lots of pies, as they say. So, real quickly, Robin, good morning. How does Sid sound? I want to make sure I didn't do a volume test. So, is he loud enough, low enough, good, bad? Nice of you to join us, Robin. Good, he sounds fine. Oh, Brooks is there. Hey, he's not working.
Uh, what the heck? Mhm.
So now you did day trade futures for a little while, but then went back to stocks. You just
Yeah.
didn't really futures didn't really catch your fancy.
Well, I felt like I didn't have an edge. So just so everybody knows, if you see me turning, I'm not sure if they can see me right now. Oh, yeah, they
Yeah.
can.
Yep.
So if I'm turning, I'm actually have another 2 more screens over here to my right, and these screens behind me will go on a little later. So to answer your question, I occasionally trade futures, very rarely anymore. On silver and gold, I do. But I went back to stocks because I didn't feel like I had a very good edge with the futures. So with my stock trading, basically what I do is I trade with the wind of the SPY. I don't pay attention to the Nasdaq very often or the Qs. But whatever direction the SPY is going in, usually that's the direction I trade my stocks in, because most of those stocks that I trade, Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, Amazon, AMD, and occasionally I get an email here from a group that I belong to that gives me big movers for the day. If they are in the SPY, I will trade them. If not, I do not trade them. So I used the SPY as my headwind, my tailwind, to help me with the direction of the trade.
I think that's a great way to do it. I think a lot of people probably try and fight the market. I know I try and fight the market at times, and it never seems to work that way. That's going up. I'm more looking for the reversal instead of just going with the direction I should. So, okay, once again, we do have PPI coming up. Now, you don't trade at all until after the bell, right? And so
Correct.
no pre-market news at all.
No pre-market news, no pre-market trades at all. I really never tried to do that. I just felt like I didn't have an advantage during that time, and it was too crazy. So I also trade. Normally, I let the first 5 minutes go by. Sometimes I'll even go long as 10 or 15 minutes before I take a trade after the open. Depends on news and a lot of other things. But yeah, nothing before the market.
Makes sense. I know whereas futures moves, I'm not sure. I've never really looked to see how much like those big stocks actually move before the bell, even with news. So I never really looked into that.
Yeah. So one of the strategies that I have in the morning is is called a gap and go.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm looking for stocks, preferably the ones that are already on my list. But my everyday stocks, which are my 2 favorite stocks to trade, are Nvidia's number one, and then Tesla would be number two. But I prefer something that has some type of catalyst to it, that's making it drop or making it go up. I wait for that initial gap down or gap up. I wait for somewhat of a recovery, and then once it breaks the neckline, I usually try to take that trade in that previous direction. So it's a gap and go, and you want to try to get those within 5 to 15 minutes of the opening.
And folks, we will be Sid will be sharing his screen once he does start live trading. We'll have that up on the screen for you to see, so you can see his methodology. He Full disclaimer: we didn't figure out a way to blur out or not show his sensitive information on his accounts, so he will be paper trading until next time he's on when I can figure out how to blur things on my streams. So just full disclaimer, but he will be taking the trades exactly as he would if he was trading his live account.
So I'll correct that just a little
Okay.
bit. I will be on the paper trading this morning. I cannot remove my. I even had Thinkorswim try to help me with this last night, and they're saying it's just stuck open for some reason. But anyways, I normally when I trade, I usually go between 4,000 and 7,000 shares. So those of you that know how to do the math, you can assume what size account that I have. And since the reason I don't want to show that and also my account number. So today, though, I will probably trade with, because I am talking and doing stuff, but I know it's paper, but I want to act and treat it as a real live event. So, but I'm going to trade when I talk and trade, I always lower my share count down. So I will be going down to about 4,000 shares, maybe 5,000 shares.
All right. Sounds good. Now, one thing I've always liked about you, Sid, is that you don't hide when you go down big. You know, we've seen this week, I think one day you were down 5 figures. What do you do when you're down that low to both stay mentally where you're not doing revenge trading, not making the hole worse, and we've seen you come all the way back most of those times that you have gone down. How do you handle that when you're deeply red?
Yeah, so I usually call Jeremy and the bonds trader, and we usually have a little chat, and he calms me down, and he's my therapist. He's a great guy. No, I'm actually just kidding, but yeah, no, seriously though, usually what I do is I will take a break. I go for a walk. I'll go out and mess with the animals. I'll go deal with a client on our home building side. I take some type of break where I can reset myself. I'm not looking at anything. And then I come back in. I'll sit for another 10 or 15, 20 minutes and keep an eye on the market, try to get my mind back into it, and then go forward. I very rarely take, and Jeremy and I, we talk every day, usually after the markets, and just share with each other what we did for the day. And with our P&Ls to also discussing exactly what trades we took and why we took them. So that helps a lot for me, but it's mostly just getting away from the screen for a while.
I think that's a great piece of advice because even if you're just sitting there, you're tempted to grab the mouse or the keyboard and enter another trade. Where if you walk away, you can't do that. Real quickly, congratulations, DWT. Glad to hear that you passed that eval. Good morning, everybody. Speed Racer. Today we have Sid Chase with us. In case you missed the first couple minutes, he is a very successful businessman, investor, and day trader. See the market coming down here a little bit. We have a little over 15 minutes till both PPI and jobless claims. So, is there ever a time, though, that you've gone, deeply red that you just said, I just need to leave it for the day and not try to make that comeback?
Yeah, sometimes that happens. I try to very hard not to trade after, well, when I say that, today might be different, but I try not to trade after 11:30, 12 o'clock till about 2:30. So I try not to trade in that time frame. And if I do trade in that time frame, I cut my trades down or my share count down a lot, because I just feel during that time that the market makers can really push the market around. And I really don't have an advantage unless it's a major catastrophic move up or down. And then I would trade. But other than that, no.
Makes sense. And I think that's a good lesson for just about anybody, futures, stocks, whatever, is knowing when to size down. Even if you are, down on the day, sizing up may just get you in more trouble quicker, and you might end up in a deeper hole instead of climbing out of it like that you're trying to do.
Um, so just to give people an idea, I literally usually do not come off the farm or in another appointment or whatever I'm doing until about probably around 9 o'clock ish or so, maybe 9:15. And I go through, I look at the email, which is what I'm doing now on my phone, just to see if I missed any stocks. And if they are, I load them into my watch list. I go through the economic news today. And again, the economic news doesn't affect me pre-market because I don't trade, obviously. But I liked sometimes if it carries over into the day trading, then I'll use that to my advantage. Um, so my email that I got from my extra watch list is Google, Mara, M-A-R-A, and A-L-L, which is an airline. So I won't trade those. That those are trading higher today, and trading lower is Marna, MU, and NIO. I may keep MU on my list and take a look at that. Maybe NIO. Those are MU moves pretty decently in the first 30 minutes. NIO does not. It looks like we're going to gap up pretty decently this morning. It looks like. Right? Looking at the SPY, we had a heck of a move yesterday afternoon.
My God, yeah.
That was an amazing move.
Yeah. This was that movie we're talking about. CNQNES. I mean, this was over 100 point bounce on the ES from 54.12 all the way up to, oh wow, it was a 150 point bounce on the ES. So yeah, that was an amazing move up. It's one of those you keep expecting it to stop and it just keeps going. I know you and I talked about it a little bit when we were testing things out yesterday. Talk about how we both should have like stayed in trades and just let it run all afternoon.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest thing for me is just so people know, I will be in and out of a trade sometimes with less than a minute. Because I'm trading such a large amount, I will get in and out pretty quickly sometimes. But yeah, how do I want to say it? I just have a difficult time going long and staying in a trade. Now with my swing trades and my other portfolios that I have that I run usually on this bigger screen, those I don't have a problem. I mean, I've been in gold and silver for a very, very long time right now. And I'm actually went to cash on my other two of my portfolios. One portfolio is still in the market, which I was glad that I left that in because I'm still green, like 35% or something like that. The other two, I did turn those into cash because I started getting a little nervous about what the market might do. Plus, um, I think they're paying me 5.25% to let my money sit in a money market account with Schwab. So or not Schwab. Yeah. Well, no, not Schwab. Vanguard. So I'm not crying about that return.
Yeah, it's a good return. Yeah, I'm finding it interesting. Everyone talks about, has something bad to say about. I shouldn't say everybody. A lot of people talk bad about super scalping, holding trades, under a minute or whatever, and yet, talking to you today, talked with Robin yesterday, whose average trade time is around a minute. It seems like there's lots of successful traders that are just, ultra scalpers that are staying in the market for a very little amount of time.
Yeah, it's whatever, like Jeremy and I've talked, you and I've talked, and I've talked to lots of other people, Kim in Texas, and I'm just talking about people in this group. I talked to a lot of other people and helped them with things. But what I've realized, and I know Robin probably will agree with this, and probably most of you, but there's no one set rule for everybody, right? The market is live. It's literally alive, right? And so it's fluent. all the time. It changes all the time and has mood swings just like anybody else does. Because why? There's millions and millions of people trading. So all those people, this is my wife is intruding in on my conversation. Would you like to get in the camera? You don't want to be in the camera? Okay.
Oh, we're
Yeah.
hoping to see. We're
Everybody
hoping to see the
everybody
woman.
wants to see Mrs.
Yeah.
Chase. Okay, here she comes. I've talked her into it. There she
Hey, hello.
Hello. Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
I usually introduce her as my older sister, but I'm gonna be nice about it today. All right, see you later. Um, Make sure you get the house clean too. I'm just kidding. Um, so what was I saying?
About being in the market for a short time and etc.
Yeah. Oh, so the market is live, right? It's always fluent. It's controlled by, millions of different people in there trading. It's controlled by the brokers, the market makers, whatever you want to call them. So it's a live, living organism or apparatus, whatever you want to call it, right? So no, EMAs work for some people, they don't work for other people. RSIs work for some people, Bollinger Bands, Kaltner Bands, and the whole nine yards. Everybody's different because they react to things differently, correct? So with me, I don't like really to have too much of anything on my charts, especially when I'm trading daily, intraday. I don't like a lot of stuff on my chart. So just the point of that is it's just a fluent market all the time, and you have to treat it like that.
Absolutely. And I think I think a lot of people get caught up with that. That's why they'll be like they're back testing when the market's not moving, and then wondering why that doesn't translate into when the market's moving. And I've had that issue in the past. It's just like because it's a totally different animal when you're looking at it when it's and you're not having to make the decision as it's moving. Yeah, it's obvious when it's just sitting there, but when the market's actually live and moving, those decisions have to be made more quicker. So, real quickly, we are about 8 minutes until our big news events of the morning. Let's is before we go into his Sid's. He talked a little bit about his long-term investments in gold and silver. Before we do this, if anybody has any questions for Sid Chase, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll either read it to him or he'll see them, one of the others. But
I'm not gonna answer that, Mr. G. I'm not gonna answer that question. Yeah, yeah.
yep.
So yeah, I mean, I guess I can. I guess I can. So it's really it's a 50-50 thing. So we've been married for, like I said, 34 years. She's a little bit younger than I am, but we pretty much talk about everything, but it's always been she wants me to make the final decision because she doesn't want that on her shoulders if something goes wrong, right? But she will definitely let me know if I made a decision that went against her and it happened to be a wrong decision. She will let me know that for sure. But we pretty much split things, I mean, or share everything, throughout the whole household, our businesses. She runs the home building business most of the time. I just get involved when there's an issue with a client or something like that. But other than that, we all have our positions that we deal with. And as you're together this long, it's natural. We work together all the time. We always have. And I think for me and her, it's been a great benefit, because I had two trial runs prior to her, and neither one of those worked out. They were stepping stones, I guess you could call that.
Mr. G, he's on the East Coast. He's not far away from you. He's in around Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. G. Yeah, she's kept me around that long.
Gotta love Mr. G. So you talked about long-term investments, and you've held gold for a long, long time, I believe, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Let me see if I can pull it up here real fast. And I know we've talked about it before, but let me see if I can figure out how to get the gold chart up here. Why are this working? Uh, let's just go here. So let's go to, it's a daily, let's go to a monthly or weekly. And gosh, I think I've been in gold since around $1,200 this cycle. So so every one of my things that I teach to people or tell people as I'm mentoring. I'm not really a coach, right? But I'm a mentor to some folks. But everything in life has a cycle to it. Um, and that includes the stock market, the real estate market, the hair on your head, the hair on my beard, our lives. Everything has a cycle to it, right? So you just got to understand the cycle, watch the cycle, go back in history, figure out the cycle, and then learn how to jump on the cycle. So I've been on this gold, silver cycle. Oh my goodness, probably 40 years ish. I think I started when I was my second or third year in the military. And yes, I spent 15 years in the military, but and I've been on it since then. I think the first price of silver that I ever purchased was around $4 and some change, maybe something like that. And I did the first time I got into gold, precious metals. Sorry, I did not do gold at all. Didn't have any money, couldn't afford to do it. I say that now because that was the truth back then. But now I look at it going, I should have just did it because look at the difference in price, right? But that's hindsight. But anyways, I was buying silver mostly physical at the time. I was a wholesaler for another mint out in the Colorado area. I was buying it from them wholesaling. I was selling it on eBay and other places, and I was using that to stack my own silver, those profits. And I was buying all the way up to about $22 over that length of period of time. And then I stopped because I got nervous about it. At that time, I had a few thousand ounces by then. And then when it went to was it $49, $48, whatever it peaked out at, came back down a little bit. I sold everything off except for the art bars that I had collected. And I still have those art bars today. So art bars is another form of investments. It's kind of like getting a numismatic coin in a way, but art bars, their prices don't deteriorate. Most of the time, numismatics don't either, but art bars definitely don't deteriorate in price. So that's when I got started in silver and gold on that cycle.
It's a long time to hold.
Yeah,
$4.
yeah, but I'm not holding that.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, I know. I was just.
I'm on a couple of different cycles now, and and I also just so people know, so I have a prepper mindset to an extent, right? So I have physical, I have stocks. I do not have anymore. I had some, I had invested into a mine it myself. That went pretty well for me, but I wasn't in real control of it, which was probably a good thing. But so I didn't really care for that so much. So I did get out, and I also use Cyber Metals. It's an online forum that you can buy silver, gold, and I think they sell platinum and they might do copper now, which I think copper is a future thing. I'm actually getting ready to do another show. I'll try to get you guys the link. And we're going to talk about copper investing and the different ways to do it, where to look for it, where I think it's going to go to, so on and so forth. Now, I know copper is a basic metal. It's an economy-based metal, meaning it's mostly used during great times. So I think we're going to have a downturn of some type. We all do. We're going to pick up some of that and we're going to ride it back up again. Again, that's a long-term situation. So, but we're excited. And I put this out, and I know everybody's all over the country. And I'll have to get it to you, Ox, so that you can post it maybe later or something. We're actually involved in doing a millionaire dinner. So there'll be three or four of us at the dinner, and people pay for a seat and a table. They bring their questions, and they get to sit with us for 3 hours, have a completely four-course meal paid for, and sit and talk and chat with us. So if anybody's interested in that, just most people can reach out through me through SidChase.com. Of
Awesome.
course.
We are 5 seconds till news, so Let's take a quick pause to watch what whoosh. Oh, bounce, whoosh bounce, and we're right back to where we started. 312 down to 271, back up to 329, back down to 287. PPI numbers and jobless claim numbers came in at the same time. PPI coming in at 1.7, which was the forecast. Previous was 2.2. Jobless claims coming in at, I don't see them. There they are. 230K. Forecast was 227K, so a slight miss there. Big beat on Canadian building permits. Not that that moves the market, but it looks like the market right now, the initial reaction is down. Just to get off the long-term investments, because this is reminding me of something you said yesterday, Sid, about how the market oftentimes reacts to news the opposite way, and then a little bit later on it'll react the way we kind of expected, which is what happened yesterday. I know we talked about that a little bit when we were getting things set up.
Yeah, yeah, we did talk about that. Yep, it not always happens that way, but a lot of times it does.
So right
Well,
now,
yesterday was a prime example of that. Look where we ended up yesterday after the flush.
yep.
Yeah. I think Crypto had a question. Do you see an upcoming cycle coming in something soon? Um, yeah, so minus the government getting involved, the Fed getting involved, we all can't control what they do. And so it's hard sometimes to predict things. And my crystal ball is definitely broken. But I think that we're going to see a bump in real estate again. I think we're going to see another leg up here in the Myrtle Beach area. Nobody is slowing down. Zero, not just on building houses, but building complete brand new developments. I think with the excuse me, I think with the interest rates coming down, people that missed the boat the last time are going to jump back in again. So if anybody out there is looking to buy a house, now's the time to probably do that. If you can use your VA, if you happen to be military, that'll drop you about 2%, and that'll help you. But it also helps in the future if you're VA, because they'll allow you to lower the rates without paying the fees again when interest rates go down. But after that, if the economy doesn't do what the Fed expects it to do, I foresee them trying to raise rates again. And I think that if, and I know we don't like to talk political stuff, but I'll just say it one time and one time only. If she gets in and gets away with doing some of the things that she wants to do with taxes, not just on wealthy people, but it's going to hit everybody, because when she doesn't directly, let me rephrase that. When they don't directly tax the middle class, right? But they're taxing the rich. What they're really
Order
doing is they're
filled.
taxing other things that the middle class have to buy, right? So they're taxing everybody anyways. If those things come into effect, I think people will start to shut down, and we'll see a problem. So that's kind of where I'm leaning towards. That's why I went to all cash except for one portfolio, and I'm just waiting to see. Now, I think I did that too early, to be honest with you. But I'd rather be safe than sorry. Hopefully that helped Crypticon.
Stop filled.
Yeah, so that was me placing an order. Just ignore me because I shouldn't have placed the order. So long-term investments. Here's a question that maybe a lot of people might have, because most of us are just day traders and look at things for the next minute. So say someone wanted to just now start investing. They don't have a lot of money to put away each month, but they have a little bit. Where would you suggest people start?
How much is a little bit of money?
I don't know. I have say $500 a month.
$500 a month?
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't invest that anywhere.
So
My
where?
first, so
Okay.
let's say it this way. So my first question would be to that person is, how's your debt? Are you living under your means? Do you have an emergency fund that'll last you at least 3 to 6 months? Do you have that's living expenses, sorry. Do you have a emergency fund in case your car breaks down, all of that kind of stuff? Do you have your 401k already set up? Yes or no? Do you have a Roth IRA would be next? If you can't have the 401, you go to the Roth IRA. Once you have that set up, then you could go and look at setting up private accounts, which is what I've done, and then start right now. You would put that money that you have into. I mean, can you make more money doing can you make more money doing the stock market? Yes, but you could lose it. So I would say put that money into Vanguard or Schwab or something like that and use their
Order
money market
filled.
account to build that up. And then my first investment probably would be into real estate. That would be my first investment with I would tell anybody, because you're already if you have your 401k, you have your Roth IRA, you're already invested into the market. Right. So your next investment should either be some type of precious metals or real estate, and I would go with real estate first. That's what I would do if you're getting started with a low amount of money. Now tell me you got all of those things set up already, and now you have X amount of dollars whenever you're ready.
All right. So when you say real estate, are you talking like rental stuff, or what? Where in real estate would you say someone should start to dabble?
Yeah. So if you have all of those things done and you have a great credit, right, then you could look at rentals. And as long as you have enough time to take care of things and you're handy enough to take care of things, otherwise you got to hire a property management company, which could be anywhere from 8% of your profits up to 15% of your profits, or high as 20% if you're on the ocean here in Myrtle Beach. Um, you could find somebody to knows how to flip houses, get involved with their project, but again, make sure that they're in the trenches, make sure they're the ones that are doing it, make sure they have a background of doing it, check their references, all of that type of stuff. Make sure they're real, like really real before you give them any money. You want to have a contract in place, all of that type of stuff. Or you could get involved with a builder who does spec homes. I do that with my clients. So my clients, I'll come up for an example. I'll go, all right, hey guys, I found this lot. I want to put this house on it. It's going to cost us this much. So you'd get the house, you get the lot plans, you get the house plans. You're going to see everything there. You're going to get what we think. So we do a market analysis because we have a brokerage firm. So we do a market analysis. We give that to the person, and they look at all of these things, and we go over it in a meeting, and we go, it's going to cost us all in $250,000 to do this
Order
deal.
filled.
We think we can sell this house based on the market for $350,000 to $375,000. So whatever you put in, whether it's 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, doesn't matter. You'll get a percentage of the amount that's earned based on the percentage that you put in. That's a good place to start, because you're not doing anything and you're learning from these folks.
Great point. Great suggestion. We're watching the market fall here, so we're going to see another big bounce later on. We'll have to wait and see on that.
Yeah.
What about you're seeing more people try to get into the so-called gig economy with things like buying houses to do like Airbnb? Is that something you ever thought about, or would you recommend people looking at stuff like that?
Yes, you have to do your homework. You have to talk to the city or the county or wherever you're at, and make sure that you can do short-term rentals versus like if you're on the beach, you can do short term. If you're 2 or 3 streets back, you have to do a minimum of 3 months. If you're farther back, it has to be 6 months, and so on and so forth. So you need to make sure that you're in the right area to do that. And I just want to make a quick statement here, or comment, that when you guys are seeing the market fall, right? I'm looking at Apple, I'm looking at Amazon, AMD, and I'm looking at Nvidia, and they're not falling as much as the market is, right? So my thought process right now is that, okay, this is just a little blip. If these don't fall, the market is going to probably recover. That's my thought process right now.
Makes sense. Tesla looks a little depressed right now, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're
Yeah.
not.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying they're not falling as fast as the other ones, as the market itself. And what was Burrell's question?
Why do you recommend people learn and take on everything needed in real estate versus trading?
So real estate, you really can't lose money in real estate, right? It's a longer term investment, unless you're flipping houses. But if you get a hold of somebody that you can trust and let them do the work for you, and you continue to do whatever professional work that you're doing and to get started, whether it's me or somebody else, it doesn't really matter. But you can't lose money in real estate. It's like, so let's go back to '07, '08, '09. If you didn't see that coming ahead of time, then you weren't doing your homework. You weren't doing your due diligence. You weren't watching the market as in the real estate market, the housing market, and the mortgage market. What you were doing is being greedy, right? And if you got caught with your pants down, you were being greedy. That was what was happening there, right? So real estate is a very slow, it's like a tortoise. It moves very slow. You can see it coming, you can see it going, and you have usually plenty of time to get out of whatever you happen to be in, or at least put your protection in place so that when you take the hit, it won't be as bad. In the stock market, it's real every day, bro. It's a no sum game, right? It's a zero game, zero sum, right? You're either make it or you don't instantaneously, right? When you're trading like you all are and like I am right now. The long term side of that, I think, again, going back to what I said before, you get in the real estate market, you should have your Roth, your 401k, or even a private portfolio, whatever works for you. But if somebody at your job is giving you free money, then you should match that free money, right? And then put the rest in a Roth IRA. And I know you guys are all smart enough to know this stuff, so I can stop talking about it. But your 401 is going to tax you at the end. Your Roth IRA is not. So that's why I think you should have both.
Makes sense. Seeing a little bit of a bounce here in NQ. Good questions, Burl. I appreciate the questions.
Yeah, so Burl, you're right. Burl says, I feel like a lot of risk finding people that you can trust versus trading a few dollars and taking a lot of leverage. Yep, you're exactly right. Either way, you gotta find the right person, or how many years is it going to take you, or months, to figure out whether you can win in the market or not win in the market. And I'm talking about day trading, right? So you should do both.
Yeah, you're big into diversification. I mean, I believe you listed a whole bunch of things you're into, from like wine and of course the farm and metals and stocks and all this. So you're well diversified in multiple areas.
Yeah, and that's me.
Yeah.
You take Mark Cuban, and he's just the opposite, right? He doesn't believe in a big amount of diversification when he says that. But then if you look at what he's doing, he's talking about the market there, or he's talking about the stock market. He's not talking about businesses, right? Because he's got plenty of businesses, so he is diversified in his different businesses that go up and down based on what the economy and the market is doing, and kind of in the same way for me. So diversification, I think, is a very important thing. And I've done this, though. These things, I didn't start out doing all of them at one time. It was a progression over the years of doing this. And in the beginning, I concentrated, and sometimes I think I made a mistake doing this, but I concentrated on
Order
real estate
filled.
first, and I concentrated on the metals first, and then I got in the stock market later on. And then I wasn't, when I say later on, I mean portfolio wise, and I didn't take it very seriously, meaning I didn't put a lot of money into it. I was putting all my money into real estate mostly, and so I was always paper rich, and paper rich, and cash and coin in my pocket poor for many, many, many years. So I kind of feel sometimes like maybe that was a mistake for me, but it worked out. I am where I am, and so it's all good. There's no wrong decisions. There's no wrong of anything, really. I mean, when you're trading a stock, that can be, oh, look at that, we got Nvidia just bounced right back up almost two bucks. No, a buck. Almost a buck bounced back up. Market's going right back up again,
Order
right?
filled.
So there's no really wrong decisions, right? Except for when you're trading every day, that can be a wrong decision instantaneously. If you make a wrong decision in real estate market or gold and silver, you just sit on it and wait, and you'll correct yourself. You can make little small moves along the way to fix that problem. You can't do that when you're day trading.
How hard is it to get into the mentality though when you're seeing for a long-term investment of whatever you're seeing the value of that investment coming down? How hard is the mentality to hold instead of wanting to get out and feel like you need to preserve whatever you have at that time?
So that mentality only happens when you don't have enough diversification.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So if you're in just one or two things and you see your account get chopped by 30%, you're gonna have some issues, right? You're gonna have some heart fluctuations and so on and so forth. You might even have your wife or your husband, have a little discussion with you and why you did what you did. But if you're well diversified over time, you're not looking at that as a negative, right? I look at it as a positive, and I have places that I want to take profits at, right? So if gold keeps going up, and I'm going to keep moving my stops up. If my real estate is completely different, but with my portfolios, as long as they're moving in the right direction, I'm going to continue to move up my stops. If they come back down, I'm going to have my stops in place so that I can take some profit off the table. But I'm also at the same time I'm buying on the way down. Now I'm not buying if it drops a dollar or two, but if it really drops, makes a significant drop, I got cash on the side because cash is king, right? So you always need to have cash sitting around because whenever those investments pop up, you need to be ready for them, right? So I'm don't get too upset when something goes down, and unless it's when I'm day trading, you know. But Brian, I'm a shorter. I prefer to short before I would rather go long. I like to see, catastrophic days, where the market's down 2 or 3% or Nvidia's down 5% or something that then I'm excited because it's easier to make money on bad news. So I kind of got that. And if anybody could just chime in, I'm just trying to chat away here. But I kind of got that mentality when I got into the flipping market, right? And I wanted cheap houses, right? Because that's how we make money. Somebody else's unfortunate whatever creates an opportunity for me or somebody else who's flipping that house, right? I don't want bad things to happen to people, but I didn't make those choices or I didn't have control over what happened to them. It happened. And so now I'm sitting here going to take it up. Somebody has to buy that house, right? So, and the same thing with the stocks, right? There's bad news on Coca-Cola or PG or whatever. That's on them. I just want to take the advantage of buying it cheaper. So that's what I do because that's how we all make money. Don't let anybody fool you. That's how every single one of us makes money because somebody else made a mistake. Right. Exactly. So going back round table this, right? Going back around the table, going back to your question is if you're just getting started, or not, you should be piling cash someplace. Put it someplace and just start piling up the cash and saving that. And it doesn't matter if you're 50 years old or 60 years old or 20 years old. You just need to do that and be prepared for that opportunity. And if you don't get that opportunity, then hopefully that money's sitting around for somebody else to have that opportunity that you trust in.
Oops, I forgot I was muted. Sorry about that. I muted for a second and totally forgot. I apologize. Anyway, market's sitting at 277. We're about 40 minutes from the bell. Sid will be doing some trading on his stocks after the bell, and he will show us his screen then. He doesn't trade until then. So until then, we'll continue talking again. If anybody has any questions for Mr. Sid Chase, please leave them in the chat. He's happy to answer. And guys, you know, a lot of people, Sid was talking, I don't know, 6 months, a year ago. I don't remember exactly when. It was back when gold was under 2,000. And Sid said it's going to 2,500 or 3,000. And I think there's a lot of people in the chat who are like, that's not going to happen. And you can see where we're at now. It's at 2,500. And you're still calling 3,000, aren't you, Sid? Sometime.
I am. Yes, I am.
How soon do you think that'll...
Um,
I know it's hard because we have an election coming up, and I know there's a lot of variables there. So if
there is.
that's not a question that can be answered, then just But yeah.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, I really don't know, to be honest with you, and I don't try to know, to be truly honest with you. I just stick to my charts and to my levels and see what's happening, and that's it. And I look at everything that I have, usually every couple of days, sometimes every day. So I make the decisions as I go along based on what I'm seeing. But when it comes to the market, stock market, I'm literally looking at my charts to tell me the story.
That's good, because that means you're not going by feeling, you're going by what you see the patterns repeat. I believe that's exactly what you said earlier about patterns repeating and cycles repeating. And Burrell asks, was your first 100,000 the hardest to get, or was from 100,000 to 1 million harder?
I think it definitely wasn't. Okay, so let me just tell you a quick story, and that'll answer some of this for you. So for me, after I got out of the military the first time, right? I ran a couple of businesses. I worked for UPS. I did few little things here and there, and then I got involved with real estate flipping houses. And so my first full year, so my first year I had about 6 months or so flipping houses. My first full year, I flipped 12 houses that year. It was a good opportunity. Houses weren't expensive at that point. I was out in the country, so I wasn't doing city houses. It just all worked for me, and I had that cash from the military and some from my business. So my first year, I flipped 12 houses. I made over $300,000 without paying any taxes on that. That's a longer story, and if anybody wants to know how to do that, you can just reach out to me and I'll talk to you about it. But so getting there, to the 100 wasn't that difficult for me, because I was using big ticket items to be able to do that. Now, if you're an average person, and not that I'm not super person, I'm average as well, but a regular Joe or regular Julie or whatever doing regular stuff, that first 100 grand is going to take you the hardest. But after that, depending on what you're involved in, that snowball effect should take over. And that's when you should start doing a lot more. But again, it all comes down to how much money you're putting away every month and how serious you are about putting money away and earning a percentage on that and creating soldiers or creating employees. Every dollar I have, I treat them as soldiers that work for me or employees that work for me. Or do you want to go out and buy the Lambo or the Porsche or, go on 50 trips or, whatever it is? It doesn't matter. Nothing's wrong. I'm not saying all of that is wrong. I'm just saying that people get there faster because they do certain things that other people don't do. So the harder part, I think, for me was getting over the million part and then staying over the million part, right? Everybody can make money as long as you're not lazy. The hard part is putting it away and keeping the money, right? So once I got over that, going on to the next couple of numbers, I felt like I had a 5 year low where everything that I did didn't work. A couple of businesses that I had didn't pan out the way I wanted them to. It took some of my reserves, and I felt like I was going backwards for a while. And that's just part of life. You don't want it to happen, but it's just part of life. But you got to get back on the bandwagon and kick a few stones down the road and maybe kick a few asses. And the first ass you should be kicking is yourself, and then get going in the right direction again. But once there is a point, and it's different for everybody, but there is a point, once you get to a certain level, then it becomes natural, right? I think for me is to get over that hump, I stopped chasing the money. For me, it was not chasing it anymore. Just going out and do what I do best, and have my parameters, right? Okay, so if I'm flipping a house, I'm not going to flip a house unless I'm making $25,000. Right now it's $30,000 or $40,000. Right, I'm not going to build a house unless I'm making a certain amount of money. I'm not going to take trades unless I can make a certain amount. Not day trading, portfolio trading, in investment wise, and in everything that I've done. So it's got to be motivating motivating me enough to want to put my money to work. Number one, to risk that money, and three, it's got to be exciting enough for me to do it now. But at some point, you just do what you do, and the money will follow you. I promise you, it will.
Platt wants to know, what year did you start house flipping?
Let's see. I wrote my first book in 2006. So I probably started flipping in around two, let me think a second here. 2000 and might have been 1999, somewhere in that ballpark, maybe. My first deal I ever did was actually I was married to my ex-wife, and we were in Maryland, and it was an accidental flip. It was totally an accident. Just let me know if you need to get started on stuff. We got about 3 minutes to go. It was an accidental flip. My ex-wife and I bought this property. It was for ourselves. The day we went to closing, we bought the house. Literally the next day, we found out that our whole area, our road, was going commercial. I bought the house for $75,000, and less than 9 months later, I sold it for over $150,000.
Oh, wow.
That was not the plan. So I don't count that house kind of as like a real flip for me, because it wasn't the plan, but it kind of is what started planting the seed in my head for later on down the road to do the flipping. Like the light bulb didn't go on for me, right? During that time, I was still chasing things at that time. I wasn't really focused. Well, I thought I was, but I wasn't.
So real quick, I'm going to show my screen here. This is on Amazon. This is one of Sid's book, No Bull Real Estate. You can see here, available on Amazon. I believe he has a website too, might be available on
Yeah, it is. All the books are on the website, but that's an imposter. That guy's got no hair and no beard.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that's you.
Yeah. So I was in my last year of my military when I wrote that book. That's why I looked like that. I was a drill instructor. So wow.
A drill instructor. No wonder Brooks stays in the straight and narrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Brooks is a good guy. He better. I don't think he's listening. Right? He might be listening. He's driving around in the Kubota four by side, and he's got the what is it? The Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. I don't know, some speaker system going on.
For those of you who don't know, Brooks used to stop in here more often, especially on the evening streams. Now Sid works him too hard, so he doesn't get a chance to. But he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, Brooks is a good guy. Yeah, I'm not saying this because he's probably listening or not listening. I don't know, but I'm blessed. I'm truly, our family is blessed to have him a part of our organization. We really are.
We are just a couple seconds from the top of the hour. About 30 minutes till the bell. Market tried to come back up, got swatted back down toward the morning lows, which I think not quite low a day, but close. Looking in on gold, we were talking about gold earlier. Looks like, well, now it just bounced down, but it was getting close to that all-time high there for a minute. I think all-time high is 25.70 or that 25.64, but now it's pulled back by 10 points. Wow, that's a quick whip down in gold. So, let's see. Mr. G says, "Go U.S. Army drill instructor rocks." JC asks, "What type of real estate would you recommend for lowering our tax burden if there is one to lower the tax burden?"
Yeah, so real estate is great for lowering your taxes. There's a lot of shadow taxes of what they call them in there. And most of that is once you've had the property over a year, right? So all the property that I flipped, there was no tax advantages really for me. When I say that taxes, I mean taxes on your income, right? Or your capital gains, right? But there is advantages to flipping houses that you don't get for when you hold the property long term, right? So the longer you hold the property, the more you get to write off on your income. But one of the better things besides real estate is to own a legit business. And what I mean by that is, so lots of people own businesses, lawn mowing businesses, pool businesses, it doesn't matter what kind of type of smaller business it is, right? But construction, plumbing, it doesn't matter, right? Most of those people don't know how to take advantage of that, right? So as I said earlier, I have a trucking company. So it's a small company. It's out of Dallas. That was one of the companies I had mentioned earlier that I really struggled with to get it off the ground and everything. But when I buy a new truck, because I'm doing business loans with not a normal bank, with a different bank, and I have a great accountant, I'm allowed to write off unless somebody else gets in, then I might have an issue with this. But right now, if I buy $100,000 tractor trailer truck and I put that into my business, I get
Order
to write
filled.
all of that off because of the way I financed it and who I financed it with. I get to write all of that off against my income that year. So that's how I keep replacing my trucks, and also how I get to write off 100,000, or maybe if I buy two trucks, and that works great as well. But and again, it's a long conversation, so it's something we could have offline if somebody really wanted to talk about it. But that's the way to go as well.
Watching.
Mr. G, that's awesome. I remember that. But I think my favorite song, well, I can't sing my favorite song, but one of my favorite songs, and I sing it to my wife every once in a while, and it's not that she has them, but I just like singing it to her. It's how do we do it here? I don't have a great singing voice, but my girl's got big old hips, just like two battleships, but I'll buy her anything to keep her in style. And it goes on and on. We're not allowed to sing those songs anymore. Yeah, oh, I remember the yellow bird with the yellow bill was standing on my windowsill. I coaxed him in with a piece of bread, and then I smashed his head. Wow, those were the days. Exactly, Mr. G, exactly. Yeah, yeah. For me, I went into the military because I couldn't wait to leave where I came from, which is like pretty much everybody. And I had a chip on my shoulder. Well, some people will tell me I still have a chip on my shoulder, and I probably do, but that's okay, right? You either like me or you don't. I don't really give a two shit cents after that, right? But I think for the military, for me, Mr. G, I took it very seriously, and my training and my organizational skills that they teach you, and how to find answers to things, and leadership and all of that. So I was when I got out, I was E6 promotable to E7. So I'd already been through A knock, B knock, and I was just waiting for my E7 slot to open up. And I got that opportunity to speak at the New York City Real Estate Expo on my first book. And I was about 6 months away from my ETS date. We were right in the middle of the war. I knew that I re-enlisted. So this is the second time I was in. I was out for 12 years, went back in after September 11th, and went back in after September 11th and spent another 8 years in. And that time period, all that training that happened to me and all those experiences that happened to me, I'm sorry about that, guys, but um, taught me to be and do what I do today, and I think be as successful as I am today. And I think the other part of being successful is just not giving up. Just simple as that. It's just don't give up.
Order filled.
Oh, nice job. Nice job, Mr. G.
Hey, Mr. G, we need to have you on here one day. I think you have a lot of knowledge to impart as well.
So Mr. G said he was using payphones to trade. That's funny because there's a couple of old books out there that's actually what people did to trade. And they went around to these houses that were made up all over the country, and there was the tickers were going on in the houses, and people would stop at these locations throughout the country and do their trades. It's pretty funny. So my trades were mostly in the beginning all mutual funds. I didn't get serious about stock trading until I ran into Scott's Trade, which I believe was bought by TD Ameritrade, and then obviously TD got bought out by Schwab. Yeah, that's pretty funny. We were looking at newspapers to make our trades.
Thank goodness brokers were 1-800 numbers.
Yeah, and they were all dial-up phones. You had to use the circular rotary phone, right? Yeah, that's correct, RJ. You're exactly correct. It takes years and years and years. It doesn't matter to me if you're successful in trading in 6 months. You're not a professional trader until you've reached maybe 3 or 4 years and you've got over all of those insecurities. Because even though you're winning, you still have them. You still have the nerves, the shakes, the heart flutters, and all of that other stuff that we all know about, right? It takes years and years to be able to sit there and get through that, and make it happen for you. And some people they're just not cut out for it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just move on to find something else that you are better at. That's right, Mr. G. They were in quarters and sixteenths. That is correct.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I used to look at newspaper back when I first started, showing a little bit of interest in it back when I was a kid. I didn't really understand it, but I remember looking in the newspaper at like local companies and seeing those quarters and sixteenths. So, would you have any, you just said not everybody's cut out for it, which I agree. But we also talk about how you kind of got to stick to something do you have any advice to somebody about when it might be time to realize that trading might not be for them?
Um, yeah. And I won't just say trading. We'll just say anything. So I used
Okay.
to own restaurants and all lots of different things, right? And there's a time period that I like to put on things, right? Usually 3 years. And I also like to put, and again, depending on the investment or the project that I'm doing, it could be a monetary thing, right? So it could be if I lose, okay. So my first year of trading was a losing year for me, right? I lost, how much was it? 20. No, it was $21,000 or something my first year, and my total loss I gave myself for that first year was 25,000. So I think that was a mistake. It's a mistake to say to yourself, if I lose this much money, I'm done, right? Because then your mind is already saying to yourself, I can just keep losing until I get there before I have to quit. And I think that's kind of a wrong thing to say to yourself. So I've kind of changed that, but so there's definitely a time period and there's definitely a monetary period, and both of them are individual to each person, right? So for me, I started trading completely in doing the wrong. When I say trading, day trading, I was doing it all wrong from the beginning. It took me almost 3 years to get it figured out because I was just stupid, stubborn. Everything that I knew, I thought it was going to make it easier for me to trade and I could whip this thing really quickly. And I was completely 100% wrong, totally wrong. Everything that I thought I knew, I didn't know. And it took me the time to actually take about 6 months off, come back to the table and go, okay, this is how I really need to do things and start out slower. And so that has changed for me. But I've also realized that I don't need to trade every single day anymore. And there's days that I just go, I don't need to trade. I don't want to trade. I don't have that. I don't have the desire to sit here and trade every single day anymore. So the days that I do trade, I'm refreshed. I'm open-minded. I think I have an advantage that way. So each person is an individual thing. It comes. And what I was going to say was, even though I was losing, for me, I was justifying my losses because I was making double or triple what I was losing in the market. I was making in my real estate flips, right? So to me, it wasn't a big issue for me, right? I was okay with that, and I kind of think that was a wrong mindset for me. And then I kind of changed things. I don't think I really answered your question, but I did the best I could.
That's good. I appreciate it. We are approaching the bell. About 17 minutes away. Good morning, Ace. I saw you come in. Again, anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. So you say you just talked about how you come in refreshed that day. How do you, when you sit down? I know you said you look over things. Is there anything else you do to mentally prepare for the day? Not just the going over your list of stocks or whatever, but do you sit there and take a breath? I've heard people say they like just kind of close their eyes for a few minutes. Do you have any type of other routine before you start trading to get you into that mindset to start taking on the markets?
Yeah, I usually give my wife a big hug and a kiss, and that kind of just chills me, And then I come in here, and I don't do that every single morning, but I don't. I would say no, not really. I don't really have that. I used to meditate, and I shouldn't say I used to. I still do meditate. I used to meditate every morning before I trade, but I don't do that now. I meditate whenever I feel like I need to, more than a set time. So I would say no.
All right.
I just go through my normal routine, which is just looking at the email of the stocks that are hitting my watch list for big movers that day, 1.5%, 2% or more, up or down. And then, like I said, I kind of really stick to just trading Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, Amazon, AMD, and occasionally Microsoft. But out of those, I really prefer Nvidia.
Ace, are you okay? The last time you told me you needed a substitute for the 2-minute warning, you ended up undergoing open heart surgery. So, are you okay there, Ace? Mr. G had another army phrase there for you. What makes the grass grow, soldier?
Not walking on it.
Okay.
So the military, when you're in the military, especially in my time frame, You could not walk across the grass at all, period. It didn't matter if it was a shortcut or not. Blood, that is true. A lot of blood, but sweat and tears. But yeah, they wouldn't let you walk on the grass, and if you did, you'd be doing push-ups. So, and if you kept doing it, it was not a good situation. So, my basic training, we were still training in boots, combat boots, and they would use their drill sergeant hats to hit us in that forehead and butt us in the stomach with the gun, and it was a different army. Now they can raise a yellow card and tell me I can't yell at them no more. Yeah, I don't think so. Stress card. Some of us need one for trading. We need a stress card. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, Mr. Martin, market maker. We can't trade right now. You got to take it easy on us.
Market comes to a stop.
Yeah.
So, market's trying to recover from the drop earlier, trying to head back up. Interesting to see where we go. Okay, Ace. Hope the doctor appointment goes well. Mr. G says that old school trading, the fees were so much higher. Yeah, I've heard of like people having to pay commissions that were like 20, 30, 40 bucks.
Be careful, Ace, if he asks you to bend over, buddy. So what is everybody else out there doing besides, and I know the market's about to open, so you can answer this as we go along throughout, but what is everybody else doing besides just trading every day? Are you working full-time jobs or not? Or is this all you do? Or and do you have other investments or not? Or business, personal businesses that you're running?
It's a great question for the audience.
In the lumber or lumber?
Lumber.
I think you said lumber.
Yeah.
So lumber. So no, I'm not in the per se lumber business. So one of the books I wrote was about alternative investments, and each chapter in there talks about different investments that I got involved with. One of those was forestry. So I am thinking about doing that again. There is a grant here in South Carolina that will help me buy land, and they'll give me the trees to grow them. I will not benefit from that, but my sons probably would here on the farm, and definitely my grandchildren would. What I'm doing right now, Mr. G, is I build homes. I build custom homes. Well, I shouldn't say I do. My wife does it more than I do. But we have a custom home building, so I do know a lot about lumber and prices of lumber and things like that. But I'm not into any lumber investments at this point. That is correct. Yep. And that's exactly what I was just talking about, Mr. G, the yellow pine. So anytime we clear, so if we clear, we have, like I said, we have excavators and tractors and all this other stuff, equipment, and that's a rental business for us. But we also use the equipment here on the farm, and we use it to clear other people's lands before we build or whatever we're doing for them. And a lot of the times we will take those trees to the paper mills around here. There's a couple of them, and we don't get a lot for them right now, but it's still just another avenue of bringing in income. Not that big. So my equipment stops at the level of needing how do you want to say it? A licensed professional mover to move the equipment down the road. So all of my stuff is like I have the Kubota, I forget all the numbers on the Kubota excavator, but it's a 57 horse. It's pretty good, all glassed in, heat, air conditioner, Wi-Fi, not Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and all that kind of stuff. Burl, I work full-time as a utility locator. I have my band and my algo. I built my trades. That darn heart is in my way. I can't read it all.
Yeah, that heart is annoying.
The pain in the butt. Full-time utility. A utility locator, like So if I called 811, you're the person that comes out and looks for the utilities for me, or no?
While we wait for him to answer, you also mentioned you were invested or in the past or currently in, was it wine or some other type of
Yeah, so
alcohol?
yeah, so mostly wine, whiskey, the barrels. I think it might have been Burl that talked to me about that. I sent him up some information. Whiskey barrels.
I think it was John DeFore.
John, that is right. Correct. Yep, it was John. Yep. So the wine that I did, I actually wrote a chapter about that in my book. It wasn't real expensive stuff. It was just stuff that was niche to New York, right? New York wineries. And so I did a little bit of that. I wasn't real successful at it. And I shouldn't say it that way. When I made some money on it, I did okay with it, but I think that I didn't progress with that or move on with that or do more with that because I don't like wine at all. And I think you have to know your wines. And in order to know your wines and all the different grapes and all of that stuff that goes along with that, you have to be invested into that, right? In order to be successful at it. And so I didn't drink it, so I just didn't do it anymore.
Makes sense.
Yep. With the whiskey barrels, it's very easy. It's that's kind of different from wine. So with the whiskey, I just I'm going to make this simple. Just you invest in the barrel and it sits and ages. It's a long-term investment. It sits and it ages, and then when they're ready to sell it, 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the road, or whatever the number's going to be, that's when you're going to make your money.
What kind of return do you usually expect on whiskey?
So let me sum it up this way. When I'm investing in anything, it's either when it's real estate flipping, it's a dollar amount. When it's building a house, spec home, it's a dollar amount. When it's investing in wines or cattle or and anything like that, I usually won't do it for less than 9%.
All right. And Burl answer, yes, he is the guy that comes out when you call 811.
Okay. Okay. Hey, look, man, those guys are important. They are very important. I mean, you can have a lot of headaches in life if you don't call them first. So that's an awesome job right there. It's probably not a really tough job either. So that's cool. That's cool. Well, maybe driving around in traffic all day would be the tough part of that, or maybe having to deal with dogs or something like. I don't know. I haven't experienced it, but that sounds like a great job.
Well,
So yeah,
considering he gets this to, he's working it and often is talking in here. I guess you can see that, he gets some time in between the work.
you are correct, Mr. G, about cases of wine and cheese. I've never done cheese, but um, the wine cases, you could go that route. I was more of an individual bottle type of guy, but you could do the cases, and I know people that do those and do very well. But again, it's a very, very long-term investment, is what it is, and it's a lot of upfront money, in order to keep that. If you're keeping it on your own property, now if you're keeping it like I do with the whiskey barrels, I have nothing to do with those. I just look at the investment. I decide how many I want to buy, what years I want to buy into, because the um, newer they are, the cheaper they are, the older they are, the more expensive they are, because they're getting ready to come to head and be sold. So, but either way, those are good, and they're long-term investments, though, very long-term investments.
Burl says he works about 4 hours of an 8-hour shift, and it's a skilled job, but work is easy, just working in the heat.
Yeah, 4 out of 8. That's not bad.
Uh-oh, Brooks might be going to look for another job now.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I told Brooks the other day, I said, why don't you go become a surveyor, man? I said, you'll make more money than I'm paying you. And he goes, yeah, but then I gotta listen to everybody and they're gonna tell me what to do all the time and all this other stuff. And he says, I like it here. He says, I like it here. I don't want to go anywhere.
That's the
So
that's the benefit of being a nice boss. You get to keep your people.
yeah, we're pretty flexible here. I mean, I don't know who I was talking to the other day. I was talking to a pig farmer up in Wisconsin, and he was asking me about employees, this and that. And I said, well, we kind of have flexible hours. I don't tell anybody, it's not an 8 to 5 or, a 9 to 4 or 9 to 5 or whatever. It's really not when you're farming and running your own businesses. Well, first of all, if you run your own businesses, you're going to work 80 hours a week, not 40 hours a week. But here, we kind of know based on the season and what we're doing with animals of sometimes we come in at 6, sometimes we don't come in until 8. On the weekends, I usually don't have anybody come in unless I just need a break or I want to go someplace. And we get off whenever the jobs are done. It's kind of simple like that. And then there's days that we don't do much of anything. We'll sit around in the barn and just kind of chat and do the least amount of stuff as possible.
We are just about
Oh,
less than 4 minutes till the bell.
wow, Burl. That's pretty impressive. Yeah. And I didn't even bring that up. Now I got hope. Burl, you just gave me hope because if y'all didn't know, I didn't make it through 11th grade. So um, I got hope. If everything falls on flat on my face, I can go work with Burl. Burl can do the first 4 hours. I'll do the second 4 hours, and we'll have a total of 8. We'll be good to go. What do we got going on here?
Market NQ's trying to bounce here a little bit into the bell. Gold's bouncing as well. Platinum. Can't see my crude chart. Crude's a little bit of a bounce. Looks like everything's trying to bounce up now as we head into the bell. Just over 2 minutes to go. Folks, if you're enjoying today's stream, please gore that like button. We've had an amazing week this week. RJ, Robin, and Sid Chase. All here at MightyOxTrading, we are blessed with wonderful guests. Remember, tomorrow I'll be streaming over at the Funded Futures Network Discord, so it won't be on YouTube. Working on figuring how to stream to both places. We'll work on that for the next time, but just a quick reminder. Yeah, Ace, how come we don't have flying cars yet? I can't imagine that. The way people drive now. Anyway, got a minute to go. Looks like Tesla's still falling.
I'm not even watching it. I'm watching the video because I like the way it's
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
setting
Curl.
up here.
Oh, wait, that's a
See?
daily chart. Oops. Yeah, Tesla.
Oh,
So we will remember, folks, after the bell, once he finds something he likes, Sid Chase will share his screen with us and show us how he takes trades. Quick move down here on NQ. Right before the bell. And tries to pop up, comes down. The video, I see a bounce there. And Q down. Down we come. Yeah, not worthy of a whoosh, down 18 points.
So on the small screen on the back behind me, that is financial juice. So I listen to that and get some news from that during the day, mostly just in the morning. But that's what that screen is. And then on the big screen, I have all my commodities. So we bounced off from yesterday's close, looks like. On the SPY at least, that's what I'm watching. And the video is still trying to come down. We are now below the overnight highs.
And Q still falling.
That's about a dollar drop on the video already. Dang, here goes some more.
A little bounce here on NQ. It's trying. Move actually started 2 minutes before the bell.
So I'm in my head, I'm thinking about NVIDIA short here, but and I probably won't take it right away only because we're hovering, the SPY is hovering around yesterday's close. So I don't care to trade around that. It might have a problem going short. Now, if we break through that, that's a different story. So to what I'm looking at to my immediate right here,
Order
guys,
filled.
I have the SPY on a 1 minute, 5 minute, and an hourly chart. In front of me is my normal trading chart. And then over to the right is basically the dollar, gold,
Order
copper,
filled.
silver, natural gas, oil, and then up there again is the financial juice news. Okay, so the video is looking actually pretty good here. Might get a short out of this. Maybe.
Whoa. Tesla shot up.
Yep. Yep.
Ooh, look at NQ rising. That's a 30.1 minute candle. I got a couple points off of that long. I should have went for more.
Yeah, that's a great move on Tesla. Damn it, should have been watching that one. Okay, let's see what NVIDIA is going to do here. Looks like we're going to go long. We are coming up to resistance area on the SPY.
.66 bounce here on NQ.
So Tesla's back above the yesterday's close of 228.13. AMD's not there yet. Apple's not there. Apple's still down. Apple's going to be a short, maybe. Could be. I think I might just short Apple here. Maybe.
And Q bounces off its 100 EMA and whoosh down.
Okay. I'm done with Apple. Quick short. Right, but it didn't. Something weird. 1 second, guys.
Mr. G says the ES is below the London low. Oh yeah, NQ kind of dipped down to its lows and bouncing. Comes back up. Oh, excuse me. Now it's trying to bounce. See, Sid is deep in thought right now.
I'm wondering. I've already took a trade, but I've not used this paper trading stuff, so I'm not wondering why my lines aren't showing up, and I'm trying to figure that out. I did short Apple, and I was green, but
Oh
my
yeah,
lines didn't show up, so I want to get my line squared away before I go live.
that's okay. No rush. Oop, here we go. Bounce on NQ, going through that 100 EMA.
Yep. Okay, so I went long, but for some reason it's not. Oh, here it is, right here. Okay, I see what's happening. I got it.
Big move up on NQ. See what's Tesla just continuing to rock Meta up. There's a bounce on Apple and Nvidia. Big tail on that 5-minute chart. ES is sitting at it's kind of choppy right now. Just rejected off of a level. It's a little bit choppy. It looks bullish, but it's pulling back now. Ace, you shouldn't be worried about trading while at a doctor's office. You're going to have high blood pressure. Ooh, big rejection on both ES and NQ. Whoosh down.
Okay, So those two trades that I took were both Apple short and then Apple long. I made $630, but I think I'm finally got it ready.
All right.
So I'm just making sure that my lines show up here so everybody will be able to see. This is the first time I'm using this thing, so I'm just trying to figure out why the lines weren't working, but I think I got it. I'm just gonna.
Hey, Hassan, how you doing? Feels like NQ wants to come up, but keeps pulling back, but he keeps fighting.
Now I got it.
Gets beaten back down.
Okay. All right. Let me figure out how to share here.
All right.
I can do this real quick.
Little safe travels there, Hassan. Yep, obviously spotty service. Hassan's repeating himself.
Okay. Can you see it or
I'm still just seeing you.
seeing me?
Yep.
Oh, it's because I forgot to push the share.
There we go. Let me blow it up. Okay, there we go. There's Sid's screen. There's his chart.
Order filled.
So I won't take this trade. One, if you look to your left overnight high, hasn't been broken yet. And also, I don't like taking trades at the solid numbers. So 100, 120. I don't, if it's
Stop
not,
filled.
it needs to be both in or in the range of, say, like 20 cents and 75 cents is where I prefer to take my trades. Because usually it has a hard time getting through the round numbers. So we'll just wait and see.
All right.
So I have the SPY looking like it wants to try to break down. It's just not doing anything yet here.
And Q is just choppy. Yeah, ES is coming down.
Man, that was a great move on Tesla. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, if this candle on Tesla gives me a tweezer, then I might take this trade. We'll see.
You're in a 1 minute chart there, right?
Yes, the 1 minute chart. I do watch a 5 minute, and then I have another screen that's open that you guys can't see, and that one shows me an hourly, 30-minute or an hourly chart. I'll look at that just to see if anything's going to get in my way of going in the direction that I want to go in.
Kind of a choppy open here on NQ.
You know. Yeah, at this point, there's really nothing to trade. So the SPY, for me, looking at the SPY, I'm caught between a 9-day EMA and a 20 EMA on the SPY. So, or sorry, a 100-day. So it's in a range right now. So unless it breaks it, there it goes. So let's see what we get here. Is that a fake break? It could be a fake break to try to suck in some shorts.
Yes, looking a little weaker than NQ, but neither are really doing much of anything.
There it goes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, let's see what happens. Apple would have been a perfect gap and go. I just wasn't watching it this morning. Again, this is kind of a newer setup for me, so I'm off a little bit.
Order filled.
Understand.
Order filled.
I'm going to go short here. There's not a lot of room, so I'm a little nerd now. You know what? I don't think I'm going to do it. Because I got this right here, and then I got all this shit right here.
Quick 10-point win for me on NQ. Burl, he occasionally trades futures, but mostly he sticks to his main stocks.
Should have went short. Damn.
Yeah, big pullback there on Tesla.
I'm going to go short here, I think, on the video. See if we can't make it up there. What? What the hell was that about?
That's never something you want to hear when you're trading.
No. Well, it shouldn't have happened. There it goes. Now I'm late. I have no idea what just happened. I have no idea. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it's not showing up my stuff. Yeah, I just took a loss I don't know how I lost that when I took a short.
Order filled. Order filled.
Boom, target hit. 20-point win on 3 micros on NQ. My cat says hello. For those following at home, I entered at 19,209, exited at 19,189. Sorry. No. Is that 10 points or 20? Yeah, I'm right, 20. Okay. And now NQ bounces. Watching the video there, or Tesla, I'm sorry, Tesla and the video. Actually, Tesla and the video charts look kind of the same right now. Bouncing on NQ. Didn't take that bounce I should have. That would have been a quick 10. Like it would have taken like 2 seconds. Beautiful bounce there on NQ. Back up by 21 points on this candle.
Should have stayed in that longer myself.
You're very welcome, John. I'm sure we'll be able to get Sid back another day in the future as well.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
I took a trade on one funded account today, Burl, and I took a trade or two on a funded yesterday.
Dang, I should have stayed in that.
Beautiful bounce here. Oh yeah, the bounces on Tesla and Nvidia.
What the hell?
About an 80-point bounce here on NQ back up to that 100 EMA. Let's see if it can break on through to the other side. Hits that 100 EMA and rejects back down. Tesla's still running. Bouncing off the EMAs here on NQ. Approaching the top of the hour, we usually see a little spike at the top of the hour, one way or the other. Sid is in deep thought.
Yeah, because it's not normal for me here. So I'm not sure why things aren't right. I mean, I'm up 870, but it's nothing.
NQ looks like it's trying to reject down. If anyone has any questions for Sid, leave them here in the chat. And as we get toward the end and we slow down on trading, we'll ask then.
There we go. Come on, baby.
Order filled.
Yeah, I can't see it was a loss because I can't see my damn lines. And I don't know why.
Technical difficulties.
Yep. No idea.
Looks like this short not going to work that I'm in. Maybe. Here it comes back. Yep.
Stop filled.
Stop out.
Yeah. This sucks not being able to see the lines. It's really bugging me.
I understand. Feel like you're flying blind.
Yeah, exactly.
If you prefer not to share your screen and go back to whatever your normal setup is, you can just tell us when you enter
Okay.
something, and I can just follow on the chart that I have up, because I have NVIDIA up, I have Tesla up, that I can quickly go to the chart and show along, and maybe you can just once you're out of the trade, explain why you entered there, whatever, if you
Okay.
prefer that.
Yeah. I think I might have fixed it. So let me try one more time and see if it works for me.
Okay.
And then if not, we can always do that.
Another rejection off the 100 EMA on the NQ, chopping around.
Should have been a trade. Should have been a trade. Shit. There it goes.
So we're going to break that 100 EMA here in NQ. Ooh, NVIDIA rocketing up there. Nope, no breaky.
Nope. Tesla doesn't want to break that.
We reach the top of the hour. See what we
Look at
get
that.
here.
NVIDIA is rolling.
Yeah, NVIDIA chart. Look at that. Beautiful move up.
Trying to keep it up there.
So RJ, you're expecting a flush down?
489 on what? On the ES?
Yes, yeah.
Maybe that's something right here. Tesla's not going with them. Apple made a nice move. The that might be a short.
I think Tesla, yeah, I'm sorry, NVIDIA. I see that pulling back.
It was Tesla. Tesla's a little weak.
Purple candle here, but I don't know if I trust it. I should have trusted it. Oh, wow, yeah, the Dow, big flush down. Down 203. Continuing down. Trying to bounce. Nice, RJ. Excellent. Rejecting off that 100 again. I'm interested. Not the candle I wanted, though.
I'm gonna try this one.
All right.
Order filled.
There we go.
Hey. Come on, Q flush. You know you want to.
Order filled.
There we go. Target hit on NQ. It's 10 points. Okay, what are we looking at on your chart here, Sid?
That was a Tesla short trade. And I think last time I saw it, again, this is not my normal stuff, so I don't know where I'm at, but I believe last time I saw it, I was up $700 or $800.
Are you looking forward to see if Tesla breaks that?
No, I actually think we're going to go back up here with this candle.
All right.
So here we have a low, here we have a touch of that low, so it's a higher high. And if we can get a little bit of cooperation, Tesla's also strong today. So that's a candle that I would normally go long on right here. But I need a little help from the market is basically going sideways since 953. So this normally would have been a long for me. I would have took this long and my out would have been up here on this line. saying that the markets broke up there and Tesla's not going with it. They're gonna trying to keep it down. We'll see.
It's a choppier day than I expected overall.
Yeah. Yeah.
NQ's trying to curl back up. Has not been able to break that 100 EMA.
There it goes. It would have hit my target had I taken it. Yeah. Gave it right back. Yep. Yep. I think it'll find its way back up there again. As long as the market's about to run into a wall for the SPY. It's about to run into yesterday. There it goes. Just shot right up. And the SPY did. And we're back to yesterday's close. So I'm sure there's a bunch of shorts right there from before when they went short on it. So it's going to be a struggle right there. SPY is kind of or Tesla's kind of lost its mojo. Oop. Tesla hit it again. Nice move on Tesla.
Whoosh up.
So when I see these candles, so you got the big green candle we're on now, then the littler green candle, and then this red one right here. So there's my lines right there. That's to me that's a long, right? And I took it once. Where did I take it? I took it right here. I took that. That was a long, and then I should have got right back in here and the long. So when I see this candle here, that's just telling me that the shorts came in, tried to shove it back down. They couldn't, and all these longs are still left in here, and they picked it up. And as long as they get support from the SPY, that was going to go long. That's literally a no-brainer trade right there. Right there.
I see it butting right up against your trend line there. If it breaks that trend line, does that give you a...
So I don't like breakouts. So I probably, and I wouldn't take it on this one. I would wait to see if it breaks and closes above it. And I'd like to see it go up, come back down, test that line to go back up again. So I don't like taking breakouts. So it really needs to get up across here in order for me to want to really go long again. Or it needs to come back up in here, come back down, test this line again, and then go back up. So we got to close above it, but it really wasn't exciting, but it's still going.
Watching for NQ high day. Our high of the overnight was 342. We're sitting at 307 now. Burrow, what sounds besides the whoosh? Are you hearing anything else? I should be other. I mean, every now and then I'll have an order filled sound.
Okay, so we're coming back in. I would have liked to seen that go a little higher before it came back in. but we'll see what happens here. And that's not too shabby. Market's still climbing, but again, it's not that great of a trade.
NQ trying to pull back here a bit.
This is not a bad setup. Again, it's kind of the opposite. But what I didn't like about it, and the reason I didn't take it, is because we're at the whole number of 230. So to me, it's a little too risky to take. It's having a hard time getting through that 230. There we go. Get where it close. 19 seconds left on the candle.
There's NQ going for high day. Okay, bro, I think I turned off the sounds. We shouldn't hear the order stuff anymore. Still rising. Tesla heading up, Nvidia heading up.
So how's everybody else doing? Because my stuff is all messed up. So how's everybody else doing?
Yep, but we're red, green, or somewhere in between.
Yeah.
See, this streaming and trading thing isn't easy.
No. No, it is not, especially when I'm not using my own stuff. And I apologize for that. I was on the phone for them for a very long time. Ox and I were on the phone. Ox reached out to other people trying to figure it out, and again this morning. So
nice job, John. Very nice.
oh, very good, John. Nice job, buddy.
Yep. We'll need to get John DeFore on the mic one day. Maybe Mr. G on the mic one day. Mr. Burrell on the mic one day. If anybody trades natural gas, your inventories are coming up in 10 minutes. Good job, Ace. Good job.
There you go.
Yes, this has been an amazing week for MightyOxTrading. Thinking the only way I could beat it for next week is if I got Warren Buffett. So far, his people haven't gotten back to my people.
I was just looking to see if Brooks was at the barn.
Hanging there. Oh yeah, RJ will be here. Remember, we're doing an overnight Europe stream, 2:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. next Friday, the 20th. William wants to know if you're able to use a 1031 to offset trading taxes.
I do not believe so. The 1031 is set up for real estate only, unless they're made a new rule. Unless they made a new rule that I don't know about. But I just met with my accountant, I don't know, like 3 weeks ago or something, and we talked about some things, and she didn't bring that up, so I'm assuming no. Bonus depreciation? I've never heard of that one before. Doesn't mean it's not a viable source, but my accountant would probably know that, not me. I've never heard of that, ever heard of that actually. You GPS tag him? I'm not sure what that means, Ox.
Who GPS tagging who, bro?
I will, William.
Burrell might mean Brooks. Do you have a GPS tag?
Oh, yes, on Brooks. Yeah, that's a good call, bro. I have one on the dog. Usually the two puppies are usually with him, or they're puppies. They're not puppies anymore, but I have two of the puppies, but those are the ones I think Ace likes. The older two dogs, the younger one of the two, she's an escape artist. She likes to get out of everything we try to build to keep her in, and Brooks spends some of his day chasing her down. Okay, there we go. Come right back down to my blue line.
Yeah, nice dip on Tesla. Nvidia dipped a little bit, not as much as Tesla.
So I have heard some people say they are able to offset income taxes. Yes, that is true, but I don't think it's done to a 1031 exchange. I mean, okay. So in a 1031 exchange, you're selling something. You have to have a list of something that you want to buy to make sure it qualifies. And then you can use that money that you gain from your sale into your new investment and then not pay some taxes on that, or sometimes not pay any taxes on that. Now, then there's what I call ghost taxing, or which means ghost write-offs, which means I'm owning a piece of property over a period of time, which is 1 year or more, 1 year and a day, and then you could start getting other tax deductions from that that will go against your capital gains or your income tax.
So kind of Ghost likes the idea of ghost taxes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So if you're doing real estate, and I'm watching the markets here, so we're breaking my line. We're going to go out and test it. We might come back down. We'll see here. But you want to make sure that when you're getting involved in your real estate, whether you're buying and holding your own stuff, single families, duplexes, things like that. I wouldn't do too many single families. I think that was one of my mistakes as well. I had 59 houses before I really had any duplexes, triplexes, or fourplexes. Um, so I think the better way to go would be especially if you're young. Like, let's take a young person, right? Just getting out of high school or college, whatever. You got some money. Maybe you're still living with your parents or something. I would say go out and buy a duplex or a triplex, and if it's a duplex, it's 1 for 1. So one side pays for the whole unit. You could live in one, rent out the other. You stay in that for X amount of years, could be 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on how you're structuring that, and then turn around and rent your other side. That then again pays for your next duplex or triplex, and you're moving up in quality and maybe area and so on and so forth. Your single family homes are great to own. They're easier to get involved with. They're easier to get money for them, loans. The problem you have with them is that if your doors are only bringing you 250, $300 a door income wise, and that's after paying everything else off, if that thing goes south on you for 3 or 4 months, how are you paying for that? Right. So, if you're on a double, at least as long as one of them is rented, you should be able to cover everything. If you're on a triple, it should be one. If it's one that covers three, that's awesome. I've only done that once in my life. But so that's what you got to think about when you're doing that type of stuff. Yeah. So William, if you're gonna do two, 3, and 4 fourplexes, those are great. If you're going to look at older models, the key thing you want to look at is electric. Make sure it's up to code. Actually hire somebody to come in and take a look at it if you're not sure yourself. And then you want to look at foundation and roofing. Those would be probably the three major things that I would definitely take a look at. Um, Once you get into 5 units up above, it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different level of trade owning property. It's commercial. Loans are harder to get. They're a little bit harder to sell usually until you get into like 10 units. So things like that. If you don't want to own anything and don't want to be your own property management company, look into funds. There's a good couple of great funds out there, and if you contact me through an email or whatever, I will send you the links to them. There's few great funds that you can own hotels, you can own properties, and they'll do everything for you. Yes, you're going to get a smaller amount, but you're also going to have a lot less headaches. And I believe those returns are about a 9% return ish, give or take. I'm involved in some hotel ownership. Again, I don't do any of that at all. I trust these guys. I know these guys, and I just let them. They're professionals in hotels. I am not, and so I let them do it. I just give them the money and go from there. And I just kind of manage them. So one of the things we do here at let's say Sid Chase Group is we're actually a family wealth office. So you guys can look that up, figure out what that is. There's two different versions of them. We are the one that does not, I don't want to say it does not bring other people's money in to trade the stock market. We do bring other people's money into invest in real estate, but not anything else. I will consult for folks on trading or sorry, investing in other things. I will help you vet people, vet your properties, things like that. But we're a family wealth office, and everybody out there, it doesn't matter what age you are or what you're doing, you should start if you're thinking about investing, whether it's just doing day trading or in real estate or diversification like I have of a bunch of different things. You want to model yourself as a family wealth office, and you want to start that as early as possible. Um, it makes a huge difference, a really huge difference. I did that very late in the game. I'm glad I've done it. I went to trust. I have a lot of trust now. Trust, not trust in something, but trust um, for my assets and things like that. And I should have done that a lot sooner in my life.
Have you ever bought property from like tax sales? Because I know like here in Decatur, sometimes you can like pick up a single family house for just a few $1,000.
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways you can do that. Trust, yeah, exactly, William. So there's a couple of different ways you can do that, Ox. One is you could the county, some certain counties will have tax lien auctions, and you can go and buy the properties through that. I have done that before. You can go to the big foreclosure on the county steps and try to buy a property that normally does not work. And anybody trying to sell that BS is snake oil. It just doesn't work because what happens when it goes to the county, the bank will show, well, the bank that the mortgage is owed to will send a representative there. You will not know who that person is, most likely. And they're there to bid it up and try to get it over what the property is owed on. If not, they bank will buy that property back for $1 over or whatever it is, preferably $1 over what's owed, and then it will go through their full foreclosure process and then go to the REO. OREO is technically what it's called. Most people just call it REO, real estate owned by the bank. That's where I buy my property from. Not all the time, but when I'm flipping houses or I want to flip a piece of land or develop a piece of land, I also go to the banks and I look on their REO list. So those the third way, I believe, I think it was the third. This market doesn't want to come down.
No, it
The
doesn't.
third way is to get the tax lien on it. So not all states sell the tax liens. I always dealt with Colorado. I think and I'm guessing, I don't remember at this point, but there might be 9 or 13 states that do tax lien purchases. So in short, basically is Ox owns a $500,000 house, and Ox decides not to pay his taxes, real estate taxes that year. They go up for auction. I come in and I pay Ox's taxes that he owes. So I now own, I don't own the house yet. I control some of the house. So let's say the next year comes along, Ox doesn't pay his taxes again. I get the first option to buy those taxes again. I go ahead and buy those during this period of time. Each county or each state is a little different, but they'll pay you 6%, 9%, 12%, 13% on that money that you're holding. Basically, you're making money while you're sitting there holding that. Now, let's say the third year comes up. Ox has two choices. Choice number one is he pays all the back arrears, everything that I paid, plus all the interest on the money that I paid. And then I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Ox gets his house back, and I'm not paying attention. Son of a gun, that was a short candle. Damn it.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's not real, so it's not like I'm losing out. But that would have been a short for me, guys, all day long. That was a short. That's what I was sitting here waiting for. Anyways, so the Ox, let's say Ox does not pay his third year. I pay his third year. Then I go through a quick deed transfer with the county, and I own Ox's property, a $500,000 house. That might have cost me, depending on the area and the taxes, it might have cost me $10,000 in taxes for 3 years or something like that. Ox could still be in the house at that point, so I have to evict Ox out of that house. That's probably about the only negative thing to it. Maybe possibly Ox has an attitude issue because I sold his property, a great price, and he wrecks the house. But if he does that, he can be arrested for damaging the property. And so most of the guys, they don't do that, or they limit the amount of damage they're going to do to the house. But yes, and any of those tax liens ways to go are good ways. I prefer the REOs. Tax lien, what I just explained, is a great way to park money because you can get to it about every 6 months ish to a year, depending on where you're at. It's a good way to park some money in cash, and it's not going to go anywhere. You don't have to worry about it. I prefer the REOs. I've very rarely ever bought anything from a homeowner or tax foreclosure or anything, or bank foreclosure, anything like that. I waited till the bank to take it back into their possession, and then I bought it from them on their REO list. And it's a better way to go. It's cleaner. There's no debt on the property. They wipe it all clean. They have to do that in order to sell the property back out on the REO list. So all of my worries and my due diligence is much less, and it's a much cleaner deal. So the trick to that is what I did was I actually started a reclamation company, I guess you could call, a cleaning company. We would work for USDA, we would work for other banks, and we would go in, well, before that, we would go around and take pictures of all the houses that were in pre-foreclosure. Okay, this was in the state of New York, mostly upstate. We would go around and take all the pictures of the houses that they had on their list that were in pre-foreclosure. During that pre-foreclosure time, we were cleaning the houses out, especially if the homeowners left. We would go back in, secure the house, clean the houses out, and things like that. So we knew what was coming up ahead of time before anybody else did, because of that. And so that gave me an edge. And then as soon as that house was on that REO list, I would go to the bank and say, hey, this is what I'm going to offer you for the bank, for the house. This is what what I think it's worth, and this is what I'll give you. Most of the time, and now I wouldn't even say that, 50-50, they would say probably no. Now, when we were down here in Bank of North Carolina, they were always saying yes. I bought millions and millions of dollars of houses from the Bank of North Carolina during 08, 09, and 10. It was crazy. Obviously, there was a reason for that, but REOs are the clean way to go.
So I'm not sure what caused it, but NQ dropped 100 points real quick. It's trying to rebound now, but that was just a huge flush down just all of a sudden.
Yeah, that does happen, John. It does. I've never experienced that before myself, but that can happen. And again, it's all, you got to know the risk. You got to know what could happen and be prepared for those things. And some of those things like that, there's pretty much nothing you can do about it. Would you say you said the Qs went down, or the NQ?
Yeah, NQ dropped that when you.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, when you said you missed that short, NQ is also dropping, like it dropped 100 points and just and it's bouncing back now. But I don't see any news that just caused that sudden drop.
News? Hold on.
No, I don't see anything. I looked on Financial Juice, don't see anything. It's weird, just came out of the blue.
Nope, you're right. Not a thing. Okay. So William, yeah. Um, so I'm kind of loosely pay attention to the charts here, so I can answer lots of questions and hopefully educate some folks. But so William says how and where to learn more about owning good agricultural land and finding a good operator to lease it to. So that is actually kind of difficult to do, William. You obviously need to be in an agricultural area. You need to literally drive around to your farmers or go to one of the extension meetings, like here where I am, it's Clemson University. And in New York, it's I forget what the one is in New York off the top of my head now. But you want to go to those farm meetings, the extension meetings, go to their office, talk to them, see what their needs are in the community that you're in. Go around to the farmers, ask them. You got to figure out what you're going to get for rent for your property if you're renting it. People that have cows will pay different from people that have goats. People that are farming for agriculture, they're going to pay differently as well. Um, it's doable. I lease some land here for my goats, but not a whole lot of it. I mean, I pay. What do I pay? I think I pay like I think it's like $100 a month or something. I know some areas for pigs they'll pay up to $200, maybe $300 a month. But I not that it's a wrong thing to do. It can be a great investment. I never got involved in it yet. I always wanted to own the land, and then go from there.
Great questions, guys. Thank you. I'm just sure what it wants to do now. ES is kind of sideways, but it looks like we're trying to bounce back up from that loss, or from that down move, I should say, not loss, but down move.
That was like surfing a wave in Australia somewhere. That thing was huge.
Try to bounce back up again, sitting on those EMAs.
So, William, I was thinking that if you're still there, William, let me know, and I'll continue that farming conversation a little bit more. And I feel like this is a short right here on the video. Okay.
If anyone wants to follow the Chase family farm on Facebook, here's the Facebook profile for it. Post up a lot of stuff about what's going on down on the farm.
Yeah, we do talk about the farming investments that we're involved in, or we're looking for clients to come in and get involved with us. You can also follow me on regular Facebook, Sid Chase, Sid Chase Senior on Facebook. I post a lot of stuff there. If you're looking to follow some of our home builds with investors or with regular clients, you can follow us at Chase. I think it's Chase Homes or Chase Signature Homes. It's one of the two. And then if you just want to follow Venom, the Mustang, and the car stuff that I do, that's on Instagram, and it's We Are Venom GT21.
Oh yeah, we haven't mentioned the car at all today.
No, we haven't. We haven't. There. Damn. See, I called that right, Ox.
Oh yeah.
Called that one right. Yep. That's a nice move right there. Well, it's 40, 50 cents so far. And it's a great thing to do, William. You're right. Your mindset is tracking for what I'm hearing from you or reading from you. But and I don't know anything about you, and I don't know where you're at in your life, and so on and so forth, and what you have or don't have now, or issues that you may have or whatever. But right, I would suggest, and I don't know how old you are or anything, but just I would suggest if you haven't already, just start with one thing, right? Just start investing one thing. It doesn't really matter what it is. Not whatever you invest in long term is what I'm talking about. Is it's not going to be wrong, right? Unless you're on the upside of the cycle. But and I can help you with that. If anybody that wants to can go to the website, and I do I think it's 20 minutes or half hour, whatever it is. I'm not really worried about the time. Um, Go on and do a free consultation and just have a list of questions and where you're at, and I'll be happy to talk it over with you. It's not a sales pitch. I'm not trying to do anything. It's just my giving back. That's all it is. But the farming thing is becoming very popular. Investing in cattle has become very popular with farmers. So farmers are out, and I do it with my pigs. You can invest with the pigs and our cattle here. So when I was doing it on my own before I had the farm, this farm in particular, I grew up on a farm. We were investing at the time. It was like this was like 4 years ago or something like that. No, it was before COVID, so it was more than that. But anyways, 12, I think it was $1,200 a head. I invested to that. Roughly 9 to 12 months, sometimes a little longer. When I invested, the beef cattle were already 4 months, 4 to 5 months old. And so my return on those heads was about 9 to 12% a year, right where I want to be. And so I didn't have to do a thing. I just invested in it, into the as many heads of cattle as I wanted, and then go from there. And they did all the work and paid me out my return. Most of the time, I took the return and I just rolled it right back in again.
USC Sun says fellow South Carolinian.
Yeah, where in South Carolina are you? Man, look at that short that would add. Woo! Might have to send you a bill.
Well, there you go. Next time you see me like take a bad trade or miss a trade on stream, now you know why.
Exactly. I don't trade live with anybody really. I mean, Brooks is in here, and in Greenville. Okay, nice, great. So you're about 4 hours from me. I love Greenville. I looked at some property out there to retire in, but I decided to stay this side of the state. But Greenville's beautiful, beautiful area, and it's close to everything too. You got the Smoky Mountains, you got Kentucky not too far away from you, Tennessee. It's a great location. I'm thinking this ox might come down to my purple line. That'd be a great. What is that? That'd be $2 almost. Yeah, almost a two, not quite $1.50 move. That might come down to that. That just so folks know, that green line is the VWAP, and I didn't put it on there. It just happened to be on there when I pulled this up, so I left it. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we get there. Oh, from Columbia. Okay. So does that mean you're a Clemson fan?
There's a large goat farm in Anderson.
Yeah, so that is, if I'm correct, I can't think of their names off the top of my head. I know it's possible I know who they are. I get some of my minerals from them on occasions at the goat shows, the goat auction shows that we go to. His name will come to me at some point. Oh, we're going to get that bounce off that 1850 on NVIDIA. That's those 50 numbers and those whole numbers, man. They're tough. So this would be a good long right here. We'll probably retest the low first again, but that's a scissors right there, or tweezers. That's a tweezer, one red, one green. They're both equal with each other. That's a tweezer trade. So you take that, whatever that candle is to the right, that's the direction you want to take it in. So I would have took this long. That would have been a trade for me right there.
That coincided with a perfect bounce off the 100 EMA on the NQ.
Yep. Yep. So from on the SPY, that was a bounce off the roughly the 21 day. So my target on this would have been the top of that, where almost where it is right now, with the possibility of it going to 1950 again. That's a possibility. I probably would have taken 5,000 shares. I would have unloaded. I've already been out of 3,000 of them right now, and I would have held for the rest up to that 1950. But if it comes back, if it would have come back down to that 1900 and break through that, I would unload the rest of it.
Hey, I guess that's a question we didn't ask, whether you scale in and scale out. So it sounds like you do scale out.
I do if I get a quick run up like this. I will. So I'm ahead of the game by a long shot. I will go ahead and scale in and out of stuff. But on a normal basis, I'm in and out with the whole shot once. But if I get a good lead, quick lead, yes, I will definitely try to. And that's me trying to become a person who can hold their 1 minute trades longer.
We have less than 10 minutes left. It's been a wonderful show. Glad that you've been here, Sid. Anyone has any final questions for Sid as we head toward the top of the hour?
So that doji candle right there, the green one, that would have told me to go ahead and get out, and that I was going to have a drawdown, which it is. So I would have unloaded everything at that point, whatever was left, or the whole thing at that point. Doesn't matter if it goes back up or not, but if you notice, I'll show you real quick what happened here. So I didn't put that line on there before because I could visually see it myself. So, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if we can break that and go higher. I'm just happy on my long-term portfolio that I have left in the market. I'm really believing that we can get to 600. I really feel that way. There's a lot of people at five. So I'm talking about the SPY. There's a lot of people at what is it, 564-ish area that are really trying to shove this thing back down again. We've tried multiple times to get through that and haven't been able to. But I think before we go south, we're going to see a spike up, possibly up to that 600, and then I would not be surprised if we start heading south from there. For my last portfolio that I have in the market, my goal is to hopefully get to that 600, plus maybe spike through it for a day, and then I will go completely to cash in my last portfolio. And then I will sit and wait, and I'm not going to worry about it if the market takes back off again. I have enough other things that are going on that I'm not worried about that, and I'll just sit on that cash until the interest rates turn around, which again, I said to you earlier, I don't think they're going to go that low again. So I'll be okay with making 3.5%, 4% on the cash that I have sitting, and I'm just waiting for the downturn. That's my overall broken crystal ball thought process.
Do you think the upcoming rate cuts is what's going to help it get up to 600?
I do. I do. It'll go quicker if it's a half a point, which I don't think will happen. I think it'll be a quarter point. They're going to ease themselves into it. I mean, it'll be great if it's a half a point. But so it looks like I would have been wrong on my decision to get out, but right on the part that I took my profit and got out. But it looks like we're going to go to 119.50 here. So, but yeah, and then I wouldn't be surprised if you go back and you look at really study the charts over a longer period of time. Where our bull run is about over with, right? It's been artificially manufactured for a while now. So I would not be surprised if we see a 35% cut, and it wouldn't surprise me if we go lower than that.
Wow.
Yeah, and depending on how now, if that happens and it's a quick thing, gold will hit my numbers. If it's a long drawn out 2, 3, 4 year, 5 year, I don't want to say recession, but downturn, um, then that eventually will affect the metals. But again, going back to my earlier conversations, that's where I'm kind of waiting on that copper. Oh, look, we hit it. 1954 and then some.
Yes. Nice rebound.
So now I'm going to have to go out and sell some goats.
Looks like William has one final question for you there.
Like, like for example, most in the U.S.
Uh,
transfer one cow or one goat, etc., to take to a butchery and put in my freezer. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. USD cash, but also give me one cow. That's right. So it's a longer story, and I know we're down to 4 minutes, and I'll try to keep this as short as possible, just to give you guys a thought of what I'm thinking inside my head, which can be scary sometimes, according to my wife. But even Brooke says that. But so I started the farm, right? Because I'm in my older years. For those of you who don't know, I'm 60. I'm in my older years. I'm kind of there, maybe, to somewhat retire. I have some people interested in my home building business. So I'm thinking about doing that. But in the meantime, I was also trying to take care of some of my younger children, my younger sons that are here on the farm and their families. And so we decided to go this route. One is because I do believe there's a downturn. I do believe there's possibly another COVID event or something like that coming again. And I don't want to be necessarily controlled by what food and how much food and when I can get my food and when I can wear a mask and not wear a mask, yada, 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 right? And so some of the farm is because of a prepper mentality, the gold and silver, again, a prepper mentality, but also this is a working, investing farm. And so it's also making us money at the same time. So that's kind of my thought process.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we have a total of 5 boys. Our be upfront with everybody, and some of you that I talked to know this already, but our first son passed away when he was 6 years old. And so we have 4 living boys. 2 of them are here on the farm. 2 of them are in New York. And I don't have a whole lot to do with the 2 that are in New York all the time. They're doing their own thing and yada, yada. And then we have 12 grandchildren. You're welcome, Ace.
A quick reminder, we will not be streaming tomorrow on YouTube. I'll be over at the Funded Futures Network Discord streaming there tomorrow. The guest there. So our next stream will be on Monday here on YouTube. Hope everyone's enjoyed this week with RJ, with Robin, and with Sid. All-star packed lineup. RJ says dollar collapse is ever present.
That's true. Hence the reason I do what I do and think the way I think. You never know. You're not, every leading country always has had a problem eventually, right? So who knows? I could just be talking out my, what do I know, right? I just live day by day, guys. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. I just try not to be wrong too many times. Yeah, that's true, Ace. But those, I think the ones you're talking about are your extreme left or extreme right or extreme religious people. But I think within that, what you look at is the last days. Was the 2008 crash the last days for people? Sure the hell was. Was the COVID problem the last days for people? Sure the hell was. So it's all relative to how you look at it. How many people during those two incidences alone, right, got wiped out, literally got wiped out. So it's all, it's, I don't know how to say it without being rude to people, but it's just, never mind. I'll leave that alone.
All right. And we have reached the top of the hour. Sid, I appreciate you being here today. Thank you so much for your time because I know you are a busy, busy guy with everything. So, again, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And again, I apologize for that, the stock stuff not working. I will get it figured out, and then we'll take another shot. Look at that. We're going to come down to the VWAP box
Yep,
on my
nice.
NVIDIA.
Yeah, nice big fall on NQ as well. Real quick here, like another 80 point or 90 point drop out of the blue.
Yep. Yep. So well, I appreciate all of you. Again, you go back and listen and find me in all these different locations. I'd be glad to talk to somebody or anybody. I'm open, and I appreciate everybody here. Ox, thanks for having me. And I enjoyed all the other speakers this week. It was great. And I look forward to next week. And you have a great day tomorrow.
Absolutely. And we, like I say, we will have Sid on again. We'll continue to find great guests for Mighty Ox Trading. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day. And those of you that won't join me over at the Discord tomorrow, have a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday. Sid, have a good one. Thank you again.
Peace out, man.
Bye. And end screen.
Hope you enjoyed today's live stream. Remember, we do this every day, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Hope you'll continue to join us. Also want to invite you to join our Discord community. Great
We
community
are
of
off the
traders
air.
talking trading, and sometimes just shooting the breeze about other things as well. Traders helping traders and encouraging traders there. Also, of course, follow me on social media, mainly on Twitter or at X, where you'll always find updates on the latest prop firm discounts and reviews, as well as get notified whenever a new video comes out from Mighty Ox Trading. Have a great rest of your day.